For joining us this evening at our Night for the Stars event. And I hope that all of you come away with the awareness that this department, if anything, it's about learning, but while the students are learning, they're serving and they're leading. We're so proud of our students. We have some alums here tonight that I can't wait for you to meet them. Our keynote, been so thrilled as soon as he accepted the invitation to come. So I think you're in for a good evening as long as I don't just interfere with the whole thing, and that's my goal this evening. So with no further ado, I want to bring Dr. Sherry Gilbert, who teaches in our program, and she's going to get us kicked off. Thank you so much.
Good evening, and welcome to our 4th annual A Night for the Stars event. I am Dr. Sherry Gilbert, and I'm proud to serve as a faculty member here in the Department of Communication at Columbus State University. As I was walking through the lobby earlier, I asked a few students, what does A Night for the Stars mean for you? In one word. Some of the words that I got were magical, fancy, extravaganza, spiderweb. Still not sure about that one. Hopeful, and Oscars. So I know you probably thought you were in Hollywood when you saw the red carpet, when you saw the lights flashing from the photographers, and the videography interviews that were taking place in the lobby. But no, this is not Hollywood, and no, this is not the Walk of Fame. But yes, this is the Columbus State University Department of Communication Walk of dedicated faculty, committed sponsors and supporters, loving family and friends, and especially outstanding students. We are thrilled that you all chose to join in us for this very special occasion this evening as we present scholarships and awards to our well-deserving students and acknowledge our donors and sponsors who make this and so much more possible. Tonight, we get to witness the announcement of the WRBL and Barbara Hart Scholarship recipients. At the conclusion of our event, we'll continue our festivities outside where we'll enjoy food and fellowship. So now as we continue our program, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our first guest, Mayor Skip Henderson, who is here to give us greetings from the city of Columbus. Mayor Henderson is a Columbus, Georgia native, son of an Army veteran, and a graduate of Columbus High School, who also attended the University of Georgia and Columbus College. Leading up to his current role, Mayor Henderson served as post-10 city councilman for over 2 decades, including 9 years as the chair of the Budget Committee. His service to the community has also included serving as chair of the Better Business Bureau and March of Dimes. He and his wife, Karen, have raised 2 children here and have also both served together on the Leadership Council for the American Cancer Society. Please join me in welcoming the 70th Mayor of Columbus, Georgia, Mayor Skip Henderson.
Thank you, Dr. Gilbert. Man, what a great evening this is, and this is one of my favorite things that I get to do. Of course, if you've been watching the news, there's not a lot of favorite things I get to do, but this truly is one of my favorite things to do, and that is to bring greetings to organizations who are recognizing superlatives. And frankly, this is extra special for me because it includes one of the most critical partnerships we have in this community, and that's Columbus State University. You know, CSU has a pretty good footprint in our uptown area, not to mention the main campus, but they've been cranking out leaders for this community now for a long time. Those individuals have helped to grow and shape and transform our community, and I have no doubt that some of the folks in this communications department are going to do the same thing. You know, speaking of the communications department, y'all play a critical role. You know, communication department graduates are going to educate us, inform us, entertain us, and maybe even help transform families, communities, states, and countries. So what you do and what you're going to do as you move forward from here is going to be absolutely essential to the future of the areas in which you reside. So again, let me say on behalf of Georgia's second largest city, we are grateful to have an opportunity to say welcome, and we congratulate all of the winners tonight. So thank you.
And now I am honored to introduce our interim president, Dr. Fuchko, who will give us greetings from Columbus State University. Dr. Fuchko, a Georgia native, earned degrees from Kennesaw State University, Georgia State University, the National Intelligence University, and the University of Georgia. He has over 15 years of service to the University System of Georgia, having served as Vice Chancellor for Organizational Effectiveness in various auditing and compliance roles with the Board of Regents. Concurrently, Dr. Fuchko has dedicated nearly 5 decades of service to the Georgia Army National Guard, currently serving as colonel with 2 combat deployments and 4 command tours. Outside of actively serving his church and several nonprofit organization boards, he and his wife enjoy spending time with their children. Let us now welcome to the stage President Fuchko.
Thank you, and I will clarify, I did not join the Army when I was a young child. So it's closer to 2 decades, but I think I'm not sure what I'm going to tell my spouse about that, because she's older than I am, but she always looks younger than I am, and I'm so proud of my youthful good looks. In all seriousness, welcome to Columbus State University. Welcome here this evening to this Night of the Stars. You know, and I'm going to be serious for a moment, and those of you who know me know I usually am not serious for too long at all, or at least I don't think I'm being serious. Communication, and you think about what our students here are learning, and think about how many things in life can go right, and how many things in life can go wrong when we fail to effectively communicate with others. And the communication, the art and the science of it that we learn here, whether it's communicating through film, is communicating through the media, is communicating in the media as a member of the media, is so important to the direction of our community and really of our country. And so I'm just very proud of our faculty. I'm very proud of our students who are going through this, who are crafting their art and learning it so well, and maybe don't even realize what they're doing in and the pride that they take in what they're doing. They're learning, maybe they're just passing their class, right? But it adds up to something that's really so important to our future. I do want to take a point of privilege to thank the advisory board. I've had some opportunities to meet with some of you and know how really important it is, the giving back that goes on from each of you who have so much to offer from your own careers and professions, and pouring it back into the students here is so much appreciated. I also want to recognize our Angel, who's in the room, who is one of the tremendous supporters of the communications department. I can tell you right now that what the state of Georgia and what the university funds is good. What our donors and supporters fund makes us great. And that directly benefits our students with opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have. So thank you. Thanks to all of you for being here this evening. And for the students who are in attendance, I will remind you have finals coming due in a couple weeks. So have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fuchko, for your service. And now I would like to introduce our Dean of the College of the Arts, Dr. Wanda Ebright. Dr. Ebright holds a degree in French from Memphis State University, as well as a Master of Fine Arts in Dance, Performance and Choreography from Florida State University, and a PhD in Dance from Texas Women's University. She is the author of the 2019 published book, Dance on the Historically Black College Campus, The Familiar and the Foreign. She has also served as the artistic co-director of Allegro Dance Theater and Conservatory, and is the former president of the South Carolina Dance Association. She is the founder of the Midlands PD Dance nonprofit and the Wanda Project, a contemporary dance group. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Dean Ebright to the stage.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here with you. I'd like to welcome everyone who is a guest or a visitor to our program today. And also, I want to tell you how happy I am to be here to celebrate with all of you students the great and outstanding work that you do. You are here everywhere from, if there's a theater event, I see you. If there's a music event, I see you. If I see you in my own dance performances, there you are. Six nights ago, I was in University Hall leading a warm-up class for a dance performance on stage. And while I'm dancing, I'm looking out, and there's Chris Robinson and his team, and they're like setting up cameras, and they're setting up wires and cables, and everyone's making sure that what I need is taken care of so I can do my job on stage with the dancers. That is the magic of what you do in communications. You make the rest of us look fantastic. You make us sound fantastic. You make us more eloquent than maybe we are naturally. You add and exponentially increase the quality of everything that we do in the entire College of the Arts. And I want you to know that I see you. I see you at all of these events. I know that most of what we did with the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra couldn't have been done without you. I know that a lot of times in other departments in the college, we are doing really fantastic events and our students are doing great work, but also some of the equipment that helps record what we do so that we can use it in the future for marketing, for promotion, for commercials, for all kinds of things. You're the ones who know how all that equipment works. You're the ones who know what to do with the footage once we have it, and what to do with the audio recordings. It's you that I listen to on Sunday mornings on WCUG. It's you that I'm listening to when there are softball and baseball games and other sports events going on. I see you, all right? I know that you do work that not everybody sees what you're doing because you're supposed to be out of the way. You're supposed to be not obvious. But it's important to me that you know I understand the work that you do and I value you. Thank you for everything you do to support the entire College of the Arts and myself as well last week. And have a wonderful night. You deserve this. I celebrate you as well. Thanks.
Now with such a strong introduction, It is my honor to introduce to you all someone we all know very well and who needs no introduction at all. The chair of the Columbus State University Department of Communication, Dr. Dana Gibson.
I don't know who laughed, but I'll get you later. Thank you so much, Dr. Gilbert. Thank you, Mayor Henderson and Dr. Fuchco and Ebright. I know that it took a lot for you to be here with us this evening. And Mayor, I remember a few years ago, we saw each other it was a ribbon cutting here and a ribbon cutting there. And the joke was, I just can't wait to see what else the Department of Communication is doing. So thank you for staying here this evening with us to get a glimpse again of the next wave of Department of Communication and what they're doing. So thank you so much. And now we come to this point early on in our evening where we want to induct 16 very special, deserving juniors and seniors into the National Communication Honor Society of Lambda Pi Eta. Now, at this time, I would like to ask Dr. Ben Baker and Dr. Bruce Getz to join me at the podium as Dr. Ramesh Rao, Dr. Youngrak Park, and Dr. Ki-Sun Kim take their places at the awards table. Now, as Dr. Kim is walking across the stage, I will tell you this time last year we didn't have her. So she's probably been one of the most exciting changes in our faculty. Not that the rest of us aren't exciting too, but we're so glad to have her teaching PR. So if Dr. Rao, Park, and Kim will make their way over here to the table, and we're going to get our inductees ready. Sydney's going to give me the thumbs up. I'm getting that now. So students, as your names are called, please walk on stage to our faculty at the awards table. They will congratulate you, and they'll honor you with your Lambda Pi Eta regalia credentials. And Dr. Baker, you can now begin with the ceremony, and please keep, Dr. Getz, your job is to keep all inductees on the stage for that picture. So whether it's sacrificing your body or whatever, just don't let them off. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Gibson. So I would like to begin by welcoming everyone to the Lambda Pi Eta initiation portion of our evening. The name Lambda Pi Eta represents what Aristotle described in his famous book, The Rhetoric, as the three modes of persuasion: logos, meaning logic; pathos, relating to emotion; and ethos, defined as character, credibility. Lambda Pi Eta was initiated by the students of the Department of Communication at the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, and was then endorsed by the faculty and founder, Dr. Stephen A. Smith, in 1985. Lambda Pi Eta became a national society in 1988 and became the official National Communication Honor Society of the National Communication Association in 1995.
The purposes of this Communication Honor Society, according to its constitution, are to recognize, foster, and reward outstanding scholastic achievement in communication studies, to stimulate interest in the field of communication, to promote and encourage professional development among communication majors, to provide an opportunity to discuss and exchange ideas in the field of communication, to establish and maintain closer relationships and mutual understanding between speech communication studies, faculty, and students, and to explore options for graduate education in communication studies.
Now, I would like to ask each initiate to please join us as I call your name. Please remain on stage until all have received their certificates. Then we will walk off stage together. Our first initiate I know cannot be here tonight, but Vienne Borg. Kelvin Bradford. Mary Cawthorn. Amira Cunningham. Claire Foster. Bridget Furlow. Jasmine Jones. Braxton Lee. Kaylin McKinney. Celia Mead. Elise Ransom. Erica Rosal. Lars Smallwood. Christian Spivey. Brian Thompson. Tiara Wicks. Congratulations.
As newly inducted members of the Mu chapter of Lambda Pi Eta, please repeat after me. I accept the challenge to maintain the high academic and leadership standards set forth by the organization and to serve as examples for the achievement of excellence in the field of communication. And I promise to work toward the achievement of the purpose and goals as set down by the local chapter and national organization of Lambda Pi Eta. Congratulations. I can't imagine why they gave me that part of the script. Yeah. I now present to you the newly initiated members of the Mu chapter of Lambda Pi Eta for the year 2023. And this is where we'll pause for a picture. Who's taking said picture? Grayson is here.
Thank you, Bruce and Ben and all the faculty. You all, as you make your way back to your seats, you know, this is a very big night. Some of our alums sitting here remember the night that they were sworn into Lambda Pi Eta. And so we thank you all for joining us. Did you enjoy the PowerPoint presentation that kept rolling as you came in? I was sort of glued to it until I started seeing faces that I hadn't seen in a while, and then I got a little distracted. But it is so impressive when you start looking at all of the things cumulatively that even just a little bit off the top that we have done this past year. So what I would like to do, I'm not going to go through the PowerPoint slide because we have some alums here that I'm chomping at the bits to be able to recognize on stage in a few moments. But I do want to just give a few highlights, and I'm going to ask students, if you were part of these initiatives, please stand. The WCUG Podcast Network, we had a soft launch this year. I think we're going to hard launch in the fall. But if you had any part in the Podcast Network initiative, stand. And if you're already standing, wave your hands. We want to thank you. Thank you. Raina Thompson, Joe Irikawa, I think you each are at cameras already. But these two graduate students, they won the Award of Excellence by the Broadcast Educators Association, National Association of Broadcasters, for their podcast, Season 2, Episode 7. So we thank you for that, and you brought a great deal of recognition to our program. Thank you. Now, I told Ray I wouldn't do this, but we won't turn spotlights on you, but Ray is in the balcony, and we want to recognize her. Georgia Association of Broadcasters awarded her a scholarship this year for her outstanding work with WCUG 88.5 Cougar Radio. So, Ray, thank you so much for all of your hard work at the radio station. He's wonderful. WCUG CSU Athletic live stream crew, if you've had any hand in that, making that happen, please stand. We owe you a great deal. Thank you so much. And Dr. Bruce Getz, you're the faculty advisor, so thank you. Thank you. And I can't leave out the students who stay behind and you're in the studio making the event happen. If you have a hand in that, please stand. Thank you. Thank you so much. Josh Pate will be seeing you afterwards. He has a lot to tell you about live streaming and radio and a lot of stories we're hoping that he will share. Be selective. All right, the 48-hour and CSU Film Festivals. Last year was our first time around at that. It was very successful. If you had a hand in that, please stand. Thank you. And Professor Adam Bova is in the back, and he is the faculty advisor for all things film, and we're grateful to have him. And I think tomorrow night he's going to do it again. So we'll have CSU Film Festival, and we won't wear the same clothes, but we'll be back here again celebrating that hard work. The Department of Communication launched the CSU Gaming Club, and they actually, by February, had participated in the Digital Entertainment Esports Gaming Expo. So we're very proud of their first launch, and they are going to produce some very exciting things in the future. So if you are part of that initiative, please stand. Thank you. Kudos to Chris Robinson, who would never stand. He's in the back, but thank you for being the faculty advisor for that group. Now, here is another important part of our program. In order for us to be able to teach, we need some partners who offer these opportunities for our students to learn firsthand. And we're so grateful for that. So before I introduce some of our partners, I would like for you, students, if you have had a practicum experience or an internship experience this past year, please stand. Stay standing, please. Thank you. While they're standing, here's some of the magic that makes this work for us, and it's our public-private partners. We are so indebted to you for all you do. So I'm going to ask you to stand and turn around and wave to those kiddos that you've really, really helped so much. WRBL News. News family, please stand up. Mayor Henderson, you provided an internship for one of our students. Thank you so much. Girls Inc., you have used several student groups, and we thank you. You've hired several, thank you. Miracle Riders, the food that we'll be enjoying tonight Scott Resmeyer is very grateful for all you do, and we have a class right now that's doing the promotional work for the Miracle Riders. Columbus Botanical Gardens. Thank you. Georgia Film Academy, we thank them, and our new partners, Catalyst Productions. Would you all please stand? Now, there is another first. It's an amazing year that we've had with our graduate program. This is year one of the completion of the first year. And while I would like to ask Dr. Ramesh Rao onto the stage, he is our graduate coordinator, I will tell you, without wanting to steal any of his thunder, we've gone from where you could count our graduates with one hand to where it would take several hands to even keep track of the numbers that are coming in for this master's program. A good deal of that is thanks to the tenacity, to the capability, and the big heart of Dr. Ramesh Rao. So, Dr. Rao, if you would please come and give us a greeting from the graduate program. We might have some for the takers right here now, so recruit while you're here.
Thank you, Dr. Gibson, and once again, good to see all of you. It's my privilege to talk a little bit about the graduate program. You know, last year I was thinking I have completed 35 years of teaching here in the United States. I've taught a few years back in India, where I'm from, and I thought, well, it's time to walk off into the sunset. But then Dr. Gibson said, you know what, I've got something for you. Here is a graduate program. We have about 10 students admitted into the program. We have 6 students who registered for classes. Now take charge of it. It's a wonderfully built program, but then there were things that had not yet been completely constructed. So it was a half-constructed edifice. And we are here, 1 year later, we have admitted 60 students into the program. Maybe we are the largest MA program in communication in the Southeast. I don't know, I'll have to do some Googling. And we have about 30 students registered in courses this semester. So it is a wonderfully exciting program. And I think just the interest in the program tells us that we have with us students who are being trained to assume more responsibilities and do more wonderful professional work. So I know we have Sho and Rena and of course Sydney, and I don't know if there are any other graduate students, but you know, you are all doing wonderful work, and we will make this program maybe the best in the Southeast. Okay, with that, I will hand it back to Dr. Gibson.
Now, before we get to our alums portion of the program, there are some other folks in the room that I want to thank. They will never be out here at the front because they always have cameras in their hands, or they're operating sound, or they're operating live streaming. Without their hands on this technology, I would be one nervous wreck. But I always feel comfortable when Chris Robinson waved to us, Adam Bova, and Dr. Bruce Getz are operating our technology for us. Thank you. There's another one here tonight that I'm sure not a one of us in this room would say, if we've had anything to do with Columbus State University, that we have not received some help from her, and it's Sydney Frazier. Sydney, thank you. I know it. I know, exactly. She deserves all of the applause. All right, comm majors. How many of you can honestly say that when people ask you, what are you studying, the response is, well, what can you do with a communication degree, right? So we thought we would start answering that. So this little segment, I appreciate the diligence of alum Cassie Myers to help us put this together, and it was amazing, the response. I don't know if it was Josh Pate's name that did it or if it was just helping us out tonight, but thank you so much. I think that what they're going to do will drive this point home very clearly. Grayson, could we possibly get a photo of them while they're on stage at the very end of this segment? But they're going to just pass through, give their name, the year they graduated, and what they do with a communication degree.
I'm Cassie Myers. I graduated in 2012, and I am the Director of Marketing and Public Relations for the Peasold Companies.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Haley Henderson Tillery. I also graduated in 2012. I'm department head for the city as the executive director of the Columbus, Georgia Convention and Trade Center.
I'm Lauren Money, graduating class of 2012. I am the digital media and marketing specialist at the Columbus Botanical Garden.
Good evening, I'm Tyler Redmond. I graduated in the class of 2022. I work for WRBL right here in Columbus, and I'm a sports anchor.
Tyler's behind me, sorry. Dana Barker, class 2010, communication degree. Thought it was gonna be a speech, sorry about that. Let me just say a couple of things. I'm technical analyst at Auburn University. I'm a high school football referee. I'm the PA voice of the Columbus River Dragons. Ever been to a hockey game? I know maybe you've been to that. And I'm also a meteorologist, WTVM. Bob's got my number, guys, I'm telling you. Anyway, a former on-air meteorologist was in one of our classes in communications and said, if you want to be a meteorologist, then don't get a communication degree. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Everything I've mentioned there, including my primary job, including why I'm here, I think as a meteorologist, uses that communication degree. You guys have the cheat code. You guys have the Swiss Army knife degree of what you can do in life. So congratulations to all of you, and I'm proud of seeing all of you here. I'm at your disposal as well. There's a great faculty as well, Dr. Gibson, but I'm at your disposal as well to help you out as you graduate. Thanks.
That's a tough act to follow. Bring down the mic here. I'm Ginger Steele. I graduated in 2017, and I am a freelance filmmaker and a co-founder of JG Art House.
Hello, I'm Dan Quigley. I am graduating class 2013, and I direct and produce marketing videos for Gwinnett Technical College.
Hello, I'm Benjamin Truitt. I graduated in class of 2017, and I currently work in the film industry in Atlanta as a union second assistant camera.
My name is Thrift Behringer. I graduated in 2019, class of 2019, and because of Dr. Gibson giving me an opportunity that no one else did, I am now working for P&B Broadcasting as an on-air personality and board op, and Sports Vision's TV, radio, and magazine producer and co-host, and the play-by-play guy for the Pacelli Vikings. So thank you, Dr. Gibson, and thank y'all for being here.
I guess I'm the last person. My name is Javaris Harris. I am the class of 2022, and I'm currently the production assistant for WSB TV in Atlanta.
So what in the world can you do with a communication degree? Is that not amazing? Thank you so much. And give them another round of applause. Grayson, if you'll capture their photo, please. Now, as we move to the part in our program that a lot of our alums, they're here tonight because they wanted to see this man. It's been very meaningful to me from the moment that Josh said, absolutely, I will come. Josh was in our program before we had radio. And actually, there might have been a few days that Josh didn't enjoy comm theory, or maybe the comm classes I taught. But you know what? when we were given the opportunity by PNB Broadcasting to have a small production studio on the side of the building where our WRBL News Bureau is now. Josh took to it. And I knew that somebody who knows sports stats, from years ago, and can recall it and put it into perspective and tell a story about it, this is a brilliant mind. We just got to get him through research and theory. But he did it like a champ. Josh has grown in the industry. Thank you again for those who hired him locally. And then from there, he was off to the races. It was one of the most meaningful moments. Right before Thanksgiving, I got a call from Josh a few years ago, and he said, well, I got a job and I'm moving. At that point, he was going to be carrying out his idea of late kick. Josh, he was brilliant in negotiating his contract and never one to brag, but the last call I got with the next big advancement was staggering. He's forged a trail, and you're going to hear a little bit later tonight how he's opening avenues for yet more of our students. So Josh, it is great to have you here tonight. As you can see in the picture, that was the early, you see the same sound, cloud things, that we just moved those to the other side. It's still the same stuff that we outfitted for you. When PNB gave us the station, they said, oh, and if you want to produce something, you can, and we might air it. Well, that's all Josh Pate needed. So they helped pioneer this concept of Friday night football focus. And that thing got aired. And Josh would be in that station before I got there. I would get texts, I hear you walking upstairs. Yeah. So thank you for starting our radio station, because had it not been for the work you did, then probably PNB would not have seen fit to stick their necks out even further and give us a real radio station. So thank you, Josh, and please come forward and share with us a few words that I'm sure will entertain us and challenge us. Thank you so much. Josh Pate.
So let me give you a Dr. Dana Gibson quote. I think it's 3 times she said it. This is your last chance. Those were the words she said to me when she had come and gotten me after I had left college for a few years. Some of you may call it dropping out. As I had dropped out of college for a few years, she looked after me more than I looked after myself. Saw something in me I didn't see in myself at the time, and brought me back and threatened my life. Really threatened my life. You laugh, but it really happened. And she got me back in Columbus State University in the comm department around the time a lot of things were sort of inflecting. A lot of things were happening here. And there was infrastructure that a lot of these donors here tonight, some of the names you know, some of the names you don't know, had made possible. And I never knew how important that was before then. I heard donor and I thought, someone much older than me, someone with far deeper pockets than I'll ever have, but I had no clue what it meant. And I found out what it meant because I found out how important it was to have a radio station, to have things that sort of exclamate the intersection of my talent and my passion. Now, I couldn't define those for you at the time, but that's what was about to end up happening for me. But I got back in school and a lot of great things happened, and she gave a lot of credit to me. I can readily tell you, I was on radio earlier today here in Columbus, and I was talking about this. I can readily tell you there are so many accolades that we get with the production I do at CBS Sports now. There is such a national white-hot spotlight. We've got the #1 college football show in the world in digital media. We didn't build it in New York. We didn't build it even in Nashville, where I live. We built it in Columbus, Georgia. We built the format right up the road at the corner of 9th and Broad in that radio studio. And then we took it over to WIOL, and we took it to WLTV or LTZ TV eventually. But there were so many things that we were able to cultivate and create right here that maybe couldn't have even been done of just a few years prior. And so Dr. Gibson brings me back in, and the first day I missed class. First day of the semester. Whatever reason it wasn't good enough. So I had the audacity to email her, and I had the audacity to ask her, did I miss anything important in class? She didn't answer me. She did not respond via email. She responded in person. That was a Monday class. So Wednesday I'm in there, and you hear those little heels come in, and she walks in and she says, "Welcome to class." And for everyone else, it was their second day, and she says, just a quick housekeeping note, don't ever be stupid enough to email me and ask me if you missed something important. If I have class, it's because there's something I have that is important enough to say. If it wasn't important, I wouldn't take my time out of my day to come here. So yes, if you miss class, you always miss something important. And so the benevolence was terrified out of me. And so I very, very quickly regained respect, and I regained reverence for the title she holds here. I know she has helped many of you. She's the last to seek praise or credit for it, but I give it to her a lot. I do a lot of speaking engagements where I'll mention her name, and they don't know who I'm talking about, but I mention her anyway, because there are so many things that I can trace back to what we were able to start here. But I'll tell you just a few things, especially for the students that we have here in attendance tonight, a few things since I've moved on that I've learned that in retrospect I know I started to acquire here and I know you will need. And one of them is to be able to answer the question, who are you? Not the stuff on your driver's license, not your height, weight, and eye color. I mean, who are you inside? What are you passionate about? What are your talents? What are you able to do? So many people overestimate what they can't do, and they very severely underestimate what they can do. And I was there once upon a time. I graduated high school, had no clue what I wanted to do. I enrolled at CSU, still no clue what I wanted to do. I could not have answered the question that I was just asking you. There are people twice your age in life that still can't answer that question. I started to figure it out a little bit later into my college career. But someone asked me that one day in a class. His name was Dr. Chris McCullough, actually, used to teach here. And he asked me, who are you? He asked the class that. And I was embarrassed, kind of shy. I didn't answer because I didn't know how to answer it. I just knew particulars about myself. I knew details. I didn't know who I was. And the reason I asked the question is because some of you may not have the answer. And I can assure you, you're not going to figure it out in 20 minutes sitting here listening to me right now. I didn't figure it out that quick. But when you start to identify what it is you are passionate about, everyone in this room's got it. When you start to identify your talent, I promise you, everyone in this room's got it. They intersect somewhere, is the point. For me, that intersection of running your mouth and hoping someone listens and loving college football, that intersected, and that led me to pursue a career in college football commentary. And we've been able to elevate that now. The team that I work with is wonderful, but the intersection is what it's about. The intersection every one of you have may not be anything like mine, but you've got an intersection somewhere out there. And we have people in this audience tonight who financially make it possible for you to not only sit in that classroom and get a degree, you get access to resources that I cannot underscore the value of enough when it comes to equipping you for being shot off a conveyor belt into the real world. I used to sit through classes and I would want to check a box and I would want to just, if I can get a C, that's fine. Lambda Pi Eta, congratulations to you guys. I was never in that conversation. I would never have marched across this stage. I was hanging on by a thread, academically lucky enough to be here, but it's because I didn't know what the purpose was. I didn't have any purpose-driven meaning for attending those classes. I just knew I was supposed to go to college. It's what I was doing. I get back in here a second time, and all of a sudden I realize, wait a second, going to class, getting a degree also entails getting hundreds of hours of reps on a live mic for the first time. I learned how to transition camera 3, camera 1 for the first time. I learned what a teleprompter is for the first time. I learned about production for the first time, and all of a sudden, I learned that there's something that I can do with that. And it blossomed and blossomed and blossomed, but I started to be able to answer that question. And I also started to appreciate the concept of process-oriented thinking. I cover college football. People hear Nick Saban talk about this stuff all the time. And it used to just go over my head. Coach speak, it's just something people say. I was about goals. I was about being goal-oriented because that's how I grew up, thinking you were supposed to live life. You identify your goals and then you chase your goals, and it's wonderful to have them. But man, when you start to transition into a process-oriented mentality of defining those goals and then just setting them to the side totally. Look at the mountaintop, that's where I want to be. Put it out of your vision and then just focus on your climb and actually embrace that so much that it's no longer something that you labor to do. It's actually something that you embrace. If you ever transition your mindset into being able to think like that, there's no limit to what you can accomplish because the world literally opens itself up. First off, you find out you're probably far more capable than you ever thought you were. You find out that the people competitively in your field are far more unsure of themselves than their outer shell ever let on. There is so much more that's attainable in your field. There are several more rungs on the ladder than you ever thought possible. And the folks that told you, you got to go to this university, you got to have grown up in this part of the country, were wrong. I take immense pride when I am talking to people at the national level to talk about Columbus, Georgia, Harris County, Georgia, specifically where I grew up, and Columbus State and the communication department here, because it flies in the face of the conventional wisdom that my industry teaches you. I'm surrounded by folks who graduate from Northwestern, Syracuse. Frankly, a lot of them work for me, and I take pride in that as well. But I love preaching that message because I understand that there's a false cap that the media industry, in a lot of cases, tries to put on you because of some things that are out of your control growing up, some things that may be in your control growing up. Maybe you didn't make the best decisions when you were 19 years old. You're looking at a guy who fits that description. But you're just capable of so much more when you can identify that intersection of passion, talent, and then you harness the resources that you guys have up the road right here. And I circle back to that D word, that donor word, because if you do know who those people are that make that possible for you, shake their hand, hug their neck every time that you come across them. And for those that are in this crowd tonight, I personally thank you. Sometimes you don't see what your investment pays off on the back end. For what it's worth, I can tell you confidently, I'm not where I am without the front-end investment that was made a long time ago to put in that infrastructure. Because as Dr. Gibson so eloquently and probably even too kindly stated, I was not a classroom guy. I was not a textbook guy, not a bookworm. I so envy those of you who thrive in that environment. I did not thrive in that environment, but I thrived when we got the hands-on opportunity to apply those things that we were learning in those books and in the PowerPoint presentation every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The other thing that I want to emphasize to you that you may think is down the road, but it doesn't need to be, it needs to be right now for you, is learn what it means to be a professional at something rather than just doing something. I can't begin to tell you at the national level how rare it is to see professionalism, how rare it is to see people take their craft so seriously and hold themselves to such a high standard. They never have to talk to management. They never have to be called in by HR. They are so far above and beyond what the minimum baseline expectation is for them, just in terms of their contract or their job, that those conversations never happen. Being a professional is the 3 percentile. I look at the industry as 97.3, and at 3%, those are the difference makers, those are the change makers, those are the generators, and then there's a lot of reaction. You know, in my world, for example, we share opinion for a living. But it's not an opinion-based business. It is an aggregation-based business, and there are about 3 or 4% of the voices in my world that generate the opinion, and then there's about 95, 94% of them out there that regurgitate the opinion, and jumping from that 94, 95% to that 5 or 6% at the top, that's the difference in just doing something versus being a professional. Chris Robinson is somewhere out there tonight. I can tell you, hello, Christopher. I can tell you, if you're working under him, if you're associated with him, you may not know it because you have not had exposure to other programs, other departments. You haven't worked in other places, and that's a good thing. That just means you're young. Keep it as long as you can. You're already being held to a professional standard in college, and some days that might not be fun. But let me tell you where rubber's going to meet road on that. You will end up being put in a competitive hiring field. And in that market, you are going to look around one day not too far down the road. If you take what he says seriously and you invest the time on the front end, you're going to look around and you're going to realize, I could actually teach the people I'm competing for these jobs with a thing or two. And I can assure you, because I hire people all the time, when I sit down with you and I am exposed to someone who's been held to a professional standard in the academic world, on the collegiate level, they get the job. I don't want to tell you degrees don't matter. Degrees absolutely matter. But in the hiring process, especially in the media world today, I can tell you, with the evolution in technology and the changes in overhead and distribution, which used to just be huge barriers to making it at the national level, and all of a sudden, live streaming, social streaming, digital and social medias, those changed. And all of a sudden, everyone had a shot. Once that became the modus operandi in the industry, well, all of a sudden, it wasn't just, let me go to Syracuse and I'll get pumped off a conveyor belt and I'll just work my way up the typical way. All of a sudden, up to and including today, when we're interviewing candidates, it's wonderful. You got a piece of paper, it's wonderful. I want to know, with a minute 25 to go until airtime and the prompter's not working, how do you respond? I want to know how you format. Do you understand the difference in formats? Can you understand, for example, how to assignate a different tone elementally for a certain kind of production we want to do? If you can't do those things, there is nothing that's written on a degree that's going to help you get this job. And conversely, if you can do those things, more so than ever, they overlook the former in lieu of the latter. And those skills that you're acquiring right now, the reason I'm mentioning all that is because it's going to shoot you off the conveyor belt that's now going at the same speed everyone else's is. And you get in those hiring situations and you will understand why I am so profusely thankful for a lot of these faces here tonight that I didn't get at the time, but I do now. It's because of that. It's because of being overly equipped. You will end up feeling overly equipped to handle the task at hand and to get whatever job and whatever career it is you want. The one last thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and I wanted to circle back around to the question that I asked at the forefront, the question of who are you? I ask it because it's the introduction that I always give. Anytime I speak to a college class or I speak to students one-on-one, it's always the question, because it's the question that just hit me in the chest with a sledgehammer when it got asked to me, and made me understand, long before I start thinking about what job I want, what career I want, if I can't answer this question, I at least knew enough to know that stuff's got to get put on the back burner. I was fortunate and blessed enough to be presented that question in my early 20s and have it dawn on me in my early 20s. But once you start figuring that out, the one more thing that I want to leave you with, because I witness it, I've witnessed it, I've lived it, is don't spend a second being intimidated by the traffic out there, and do not spend a second being intimidated by the saturation in the job markets that you are going to pursue a career in. One of the other quotes that I always give is that traffic disappears quickly if you understand how to create your own lane. And you can do that not by trying to be a carbon copy of someone else, but by harnessing what it is you have. Once you figure out the answer to that question, who are you, then you know what the talents are. You know what the passion is. You know where they intersect. And you understand there's nobody out of 7 billion people on the planet that have that unique combination of characteristics like you do. If you can ever harness that, then you can shift and you can start doing something a little different than anyone else has ever done. And you've got your own lane, and all of a sudden, much as we were able to do with my production, we build it in Columbus, CBS Sports Calls, we take it national, and we barely had to change a thing about it because it was already built, packaged, and ready to go. I just have a production army now that I may not have had here, but we get to implement the exact game plan that we started to implement here, and we started to implement up the road on the corner of 9th and Broad, as I always like to say on air. That traffic and that saturation, they're buzzwords. They're just excuses. I hear them all the time. They are excuses that people in my world use for the reasons to explain why they're not cutting through, why they're not elevating, or why someone else is elevating faster than they are. You work on your own time frame, first off. You're running your own race. But when anyone ever tells you, whoa, that's saturated now, a lot of people out there who do that, there may be the case. Man, I work in one of the most competitive fields in all of media. Everyone thinks they know sports. Everyone wants to talk about it for a living. I get to actually do it. It's a dream job. And from the outside, it looks like I got where I am right now pretty quick. Now, anyone who knows me knows that's the antithesis of what the reality is, but it looks that way because once what we cultivated got a national spotlight on it, people ate it up. We had done our due diligence. I knew the market was there. I always knew it would work. I had no doubt about that. But even then, that confidence is not enough. You got to have people who will step up for you. You got to have people who will go to bat for you, and you got to have someone who will believe in you. But when it comes, when that right time comes, have yourself in the right place. That right place, right time, that lucky lottery winning ticket, that does happen for some people. The statistics say that's not the way it's going to work out, but the way it can work out for you is you keep yourself in the right place, the right time will find you. And the people that we just honored on this stage, the folks who are working production here tonight, I can confidently, from a firsthand perspective, tell you the faculty you have here, the local dignitaries that we have here, they're here for a reason. It doesn't have to make sense to you right now. Just understand it's in your best interest. Use it, utilize it, and one day make it your goal for people to sit there and listen to you and the story you have to tell, because everyone's got one to tell. And I can assure you in closing, and people seated over here can probably tell you more emphatically than I even could, in sports we talk about upsets all the time. There is no bigger upset than the fact that I'm the one up here. Out of all people who have come through that department, I'm the one up here talking to you tonight. So that phrase, if I can do it, anyone can, I promise you, if I can do it, anyone can. Thank you so much for having me.
Again, what can you do with a communication degree, right? Thank you so much, Josh. Now we've come to a point in the evening where we're going to introduce those scholarship recipients. This is going to make your days and weeks this summer as well as this fall. So first I would like to begin. Will our friends from Catalyst Productions, John, Elena, Jason, and Shannon, will you stand where you are? And I'm going to ask you to turn around. These are our new partners at Flat Rock Studios, Catalyst Production. And they, my goodness, you all have been in Columbus since early winter, right? Christmas. And they have a production starting up pretty soon. And the names I'm going to call, you're receiving a GFA scholarship that will cover the cost of your class, and you get a paid internship, and you get to work with these four. It's amazing. So maybe if you walk on stage just a little bit afterwards, interns, I want you to rush to them and say hello and introduce yourselves. The summer scholarship recipients are Liz Nesbitt, and you're probably off stage somewhere. You can come and wave. Michael Grantham. Blythe Porter. Amira Cunningham. Will Mobley. Braxton Lee. Anthony Booker. Very good. You're going to have a good crew. Thank you so much for working with them. All right, for the fall internship for GFA, Ahmad Dajjal, will you stand? Ben Barunji, Eden Manning, Marcos Falk, Hannah Jones, Celia Mead, and Jesse Perez. Congratulations to our GFA scholarship recipients. And now I would like to call Joe McGuire and Chuck Williams from off stage. I would like for you to come, and it is our honor to get to share this podium with you all. Thank you for all you do for hiring our students and giving them these opportunities. And now I know that there's a very important spot that some of these students are going to be taking this year because they're going to be the new scholarship recipients. So I'm going to turn it over to y'all.
Thank you, Dr. Gibson. Good evening, everybody, and to the few college kids who just woke up, good morning. I know some of you are out there because I did it too. We're very proud to be here. I'll make a few brief remarks and hand it over to Chuck, but I was appointed general manager of WRBL about a year and a half ago, and I will tell you, of all the organizations that we work with throughout the city, I'll be very direct, none is more important than our relationship with this department. We hire the students that come out of this department who are ready to roll with us. We have full-time employees, we have part-time employees, and we have interns, and Chuck does a lot with our practicum students. The interns and practicum students, what that really entails is learning. You learn everything that we do on the news side. He has a huge part to do with it. It could be going out doing a live shot, it could be writing a script, or chasing the mayor around with a camera and a microphone, which is an important job to learn how to do. So it's great to see you, Mr. Mayor, and Dr. Fuchko. I know he was here earlier and had a chance to speak with him. Want to make just a couple of brief remarks, and then Chuck's going to hand out some scholarships. I want to explain why this department is so important to me. There's a lot of organizations that we can partner with around the city as a news station. I'm a huge believer in the right to free speech. In fact, I'm an absolutist. I think everybody deserves to have their opinion heard. Nobody deserves to have their opinion shouted down, and nothing should allow anybody to retaliate with violence. And so that's very important to me. It's something I'm very passionate about. And so if I could just tell those of you in the audience, whether you're students or adults, everybody deserves the right to have their voice heard. And I believe that it's a huge value at our television station. And I would just encourage all of you to listen. Our country needs that at this point. One more announcement that I told Dr. Gibson about 45 minutes ago. The company that owns WRBL is Nexstar Media. It's the largest television station ownership group in the United States. We have 200 television stations across 116 different markets, from Los Angeles to New York and everywhere in between. One of the great things that our company, Nexstar Media, does is to provide grants to local organizations. And so tonight I'm proud to announce that Nexstar Media and WRBL are providing a $2,500 grant to the Department of Communication, and we're excited to be able to do that. So last year when we came here, Chuck got to give out all the money, so I had to figure out some way to give money out too. So go ahead, Chuck.
Thank you. I do get the honor and pleasure of working with a lot of your students, and I've seen kids that are young men and women that I've had the pleasure to work with over the last 2 years, and I just can't say enough for what y'all are producing, their work ethic, and their commitment to trying to get it right. And now I have the best job around. I'm fixing to honor 6 students with scholarship money, and we're going to have 5 WRBL scholarships, then the Barbara Hart Scholarship, which is named for the late mother of our former general manager, David Hart, who was instrumental in setting up this partnership with Dr. Gibson years ago. I will start with the WRBL scholarship recipients. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Nick Bentley. Congratulations, Nick. Anthony Booker. The next one is one of my practicum kids this semester, Mary Litz. Congratulations, Mary. Olivia Lugo. And the last WRBL scholarship recipient is Milan Lane. And our final scholarship is the Barbara Hart Scholarship, and as I said, it's named for David's late mother, and I know this is a very, very important scholarship for David and his family. The winner of this scholarship is Claire Foster. Congratulations, and listen to what Josh Pate said tonight. He got it right. Thank you.
Those are $1,000 scholarships, and I think that the lessons learned in the performance of your work with WRBL and these experiences is enough to change our lives, and so we thank you so much. Speaking of life-changing, I want to bring us to the Game Changer Award segment of the evening. And I would like to call Mr. Lee Brantley, the chair of the Communication Advisory Board. I would like for him to come out here with me and share the microphone. And Sydney, in a few minutes, I'm going to ask that you give me our guest, and I would like the little box that is off stage. A game changer has been defined as an individual or a company that significantly alters the way things are done as a whole. And when it comes to the person who's receiving this award this year, it's just such an understatement. The recipient of this award not only has changed the game for us, but he's paved the way for next year more of you to receive scholarships and opportunities that maybe you have never even have dreamt would exist. This person had his own career in radio. And well past the time when he could rest and just enjoy life as it came to him, he decided that wasn't enough. He decided he wanted to have a legacy for students who also wanted to go into some form of the industry. I'm going to ask that Lee Brantley talk a little bit about, as an advisory board member, what this gift meant when you got that phone call from me and I was shouting to high heaven that a gift like nothing that we'd ever received before was delivered to our doorstep.
Thank you, Dr. Gibson. When I got that call, I was wondering, what is she talking about? This cannot be true. The recipient has been so meaningful to this community for a long, long time. I came here in 1995, and one of the first names I heard and his impact in radio and all the great things he had done for the community, and he's continued to do that, has meant a great deal to this community. His donation came at the time that Dr. Gibson and I were looking around and we're about to have severe cuts in the department, as the entire university is. And how are we going to counter this? And we got to start some fundraising activities, and we've got to work really hard here. We intend to do that still, and even more motivated now. But that call, that gift from our recipient came at just a remarkable time. I mean, we were struggling with how we were going to raise enough funds to keep the department where it is and take it to even a higher level. And there it was. I like to call it manna from heaven.
Absolutely.
So it is my honor on behalf of the Communications Department and the Advisory Council to introduce to you our Game Changer recipient tonight, Mr. Art Angel.
Grayson, I'm going to ask that you get a picture of Mr. Brantley presenting this award. And when Lee is talking about, we were looking at our individual piggy banks for how we might donate 100 here or 100 there. This man came with $100,000, and then he presented $600,000. We brought him into our radio station, and although the technology has changed drastically over the years, he was home. He recognized the environment. And our students, I cannot wait for you to work with our students. There are podcasts out there show about early days in radio, and the gift that he's given will ensure that we have scholarships coming to meet the needs of our future generation. So, Mr. Art Angel, you are indeed our angel. Thank you so much. Now, it does not end here. There's more. Josh, will you come out? Lee, I want you to stay on stage with me. And Mr. Angel, you stay. And Josh, you stand beside Mr. Angel. To show you how we're giving back, and I told you, Josh said I'm going to throw something else in that we didn't quite know all the details yet. But this is the first year we get to give an Art Angel scholarship. And it couldn't just be just a regular scholarship. It had to be really special. So I want to tell you just very briefly, we have a senior. She loves radio. She loves the actual live streaming. She gives so much to our department. She gives so much to CSU. She's on our live stream team. I called her in my office a few months ago and I said, what is it you want to do after you graduate? We shared a couple of tears there when she said, really would love to produce. I couldn't wait to get out of my office and call Josh. Can you help us out? So Chelsea Robinson, where are you? Come on down. Be careful with the steps. Chelsea is going to receive a $5,000 Angel Scholarship. She is going to CBS. She's going to be working with Josh Pate in Nashville, Tennessee this summer. The last few weeks in our office was very exciting because she's staying at Vanderbilt University. We've got the housing together. She's going to have 5 weeks of Josh. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Your life will be changed, And because of Mr. Art Angel, you get that opportunity. So Grayson, I definitely want a picture at the end of the program with our folks here, if you don't mind. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, I'll let you all go back in the wings. And we're almost through. We have something that I do want to mention. We have some sponsors for our event this night. And literally, without them, we would go hungry tonight. I mean, literally. Our door prizes, our food has been gifted because of our sponsors. So I do want to thank P&B Broadcasting. They are our title sponsor, and they are covering the cost of our food, and they're also going to chip in on some of the meaningful door prizes that our other agencies have contributed. Let me start off. WC Bradley, Flat Rock Studios, they are gifting a MacBook. Nothing shabby at all about that, absolutely not. Gross and Fincher Real Estate, that's one of our alums who couldn't make it tonight. They're gifting another laptop. Chick-fil-A and Countries, they have given dinners and gift cards that will be in the drawing tonight. We also have some of our own advisory board members, and those of you who are here tonight, please stand. We just could not do what we do without you. Advisory board members, please stand. Each of them have given in so many different ways. Some of them have given tonight to provide a one-year subscription for Adobe Premiere, a license that will start in the fall. And the rest of us are going, oh, what's that? I mean, that keeps them doing their editing work. It's food to them, although Countries will be food tonight. But this is gonna be able to keep you doing your work and producing that quality content that you're doing. So advisory board members, thank you for being here. Thank you for the sponsorships that you have given for us. Now, winners of those door prizes will be announced during dinner out on the lawn. So now, one more introduction before we conclude with, I believe Chris Robinson has, Josh, you called him Christopher? My goodness, even I do not call him Christopher. Mr. Robinson is going to show a brief video with another little bit of cliffhanger for us. But students, you remember the last few weeks we had two professors to be, hopeful to be professors, were coming into our classrooms and they were giving a guest lecture. You remember? Yeah, Dr. Getz's comm ethics class. Well, we have signed the contract. We have a new faculty member coming to join us in the fall. This faculty member could not be here tonight because they happen to be picking up another award with Girl Scouts tonight. We like that. But what we get to do, I believe this faculty member is going to be announcing just a few moments ago, they announced that they are the newest member of Columbus State University faculty. And so without further ado, I would like to let you know who's coming in the fall. Dr. Zebright and McHenry just worked overtime to get this pulled off so we could have this surprise. So thank you so much. All right, so we have a brief video clip, and then I have just one final very quick thing because I know I stand between you and the food at that point. So, Mr. Robinson.
If you attended last year's A Night for the Stars event, you'll remember we concluded our program with the gift of a van for WCUG 88.5 Cougar Radio. Well, this year, to conclude our very special evening, I don't have a van, but I can't let the evening end without at least disclosing something very special that is just about to happen for the Department of Communication. You know, none of us were extremely connected to the old Carpenter Building. So to be told that Carpenter Building was going to be sold did not necessarily bring any of us to tears. But of course we wanted to know, where are we moving, when are we moving, and how is it going to look? Okay, so now I want to share with all of you, as you sit here with me under this one roof, our new home is going to be One Arsenal. We will be moving over the summer, so when you come to join us this fall, you will be in your new facility. Right now, it doesn't look like much, but the exciting components that are being built into the plans, this summer will be a beehive of activities. We will be fleshing out the details for the radio station that now will have a place for live music as well as podcast studio. Our WRBL partners will be able to expand their footprint on the News Bureau. This is all great for our students. Our classroom spaces will be highly flexible. We will have a small computer lab and a couple of traditional classroom spaces just a few feet away from our main facility. So if any of you would like to check on the progress, I'm sure we would love to give you a tour. But until then, get really excited as you say goodbye to Carpenter and hello to One Arsenal.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson, for putting that together. We appreciate it. Now, following this event here, I want you to carefully make your way outdoors to the food truck. As you proceed outside, students present your ticket for your free meal. Any guests are welcome to purchase their meal and continue to share this time with us. As soon as we've received the food, we'll be announcing the door prize winners, which you certainly, students, do not want to miss. At this time, I think that's all we have on our agenda. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate you being here. Thank you, partners. Thank you, students. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Mr. Art. Enjoy the evening. We'll see you next year.